Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about the Ninjago Legacy Reimagined shorts once again, but in today's video we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be discussing these 5 Legacy shorts and breaking down which ones of them can be considered as canon and which ones exist in their own little pocket universe. To give a very straightforward answer, none of these Ninjago Legacy shorts can be considered 100% canon. Various writers, producers, and creators of the Ninjago show have commented how these shorts are not canon, though some people say that only one of them is canon, but other sources say that none of them are canon. It's a very inconsistent report here from various parts of the Ninjago behind the scenes crew, so who really knows what's going on here? In this video I'm just going to be giving my own general opinions on each one of the shorts. We'll go through them individually, and I will rate their potential to be canon using a percentage, if that makes sense. Some of these shorts are very mixed in terms of what they contain. Some of these shorts could very obviously be considered canon, while others are a little bit harder to justify. We're going to be going through each one though, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on them, but at the end of the day this is all just my own opinion. Nothing I'm going to say in this video is 100% confirmed as being canon, so do keep that in mind. And also, for a really quick disclaimer, I apologize if you hear some weird ringing in the background. I'm recording this very late at night and there are frogs outside my window singing to each other, and it's very annoying. So if you guys hear some frogs singing, that's because they're literally right outside my window. Thank you, frogs. So why don't we go ahead and continue onwards here. Like I said, we're going to be rating these based on a percentage of potential to be considered canon. I'm going to be explaining that as I go along throughout the video. Why don't we start off by taking a look at the first Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short entitled Golden Legend. Now this exists in a very weird alternate timeline, and I'm kind of theorizing that this timeline might actually be after Skybound. Now the reason why I'm saying that is because if you guys remember, during Ninjago Skybound, Ninjago City was very much in ruins. After Nodocon's fall, various chunks of Ninjago started falling out of the sky, and it might have caused a great deal of damage. That could explain why we see various Ninjago landmarks in the background damaged and fallen. Might be because of Jinjago, or at least the new Jinjago, falling out of the sky onto Ninjago. Another piece of evidence that we can consider for this short taking place after Skybound is the golden statues. Towards the finale of Skybound, or at least the last episode of the season, Nodokon encased several of the ninja in this weird golden coating. Now the 6 ninja do indeed show up in this Legacy short as being encased in gold. Now obviously this might make sense on paper, but when you look into it, it really doesn't make all that much sense. For one, Nia would probably be dead if this was a continuation of Skybound, because Nia of course died towards the end, so why would she be encased in gold? Unless the 6th ninja is a new character not yet seen, who's to say? Ultimately though, I really do think that this short could have taken place in an alternative future where Skybound was never reversed, and that's why Ninjago's kind of all messed up like this. But because of this, because it takes place in an alternate timeline, it's obviously not going to be canon to the main Ninjago timeline. The timeline in which they reverse Skybound, this short would not apply to that. Another option for this short is that it takes place in the far future, and maybe we just haven't seen this battle yet. Maybe a future battle in which the ninja lose horribly might lead to a dystopian Ninjago such as this. It's not super clear, because at the same time it's not really supposed to be. There's also the weird parallels between the dragon and the weird samurai person. Not too sure about that. Obviously the dragon is going to be protecting the ninja, but why? Which dragon is this? Is this a dragon that we've seen before? Who really knows? I feel like the potential for this one to be considered canon is probably an even 50%. I could see this one going either way. If the Ninjago team wanted to say that this was a continuation of the, I guess, lost Skybound timeline, then yeah, I could totally see it. But in terms of the actual short itself, there's a very good chance that it's definitely not canon, and it takes place in its own little universe, like a large majority of these shorts do. So like I said, this will be receiving a 50% in terms of potential of being canon from me, just according to my own opinion. Next up we have the second Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short, this one being called Gold Rush. Now I'm not exactly sure where this one would have taken place if it would be considered canon. We can see that there's definitely the X1 Charger there, which Kai had during Season 3, but Nia is a ninja, which she wasn't a ninja during Rebooted just yet. So when would this take place? It's very much hard to say. And also there's the matter of the ninja having their golden powers, or at least their golden suits unlocked, which right away is a very big red flag. Obviously it features Kai and Nia on a mission, and that concept alone could pretty much take place at any time throughout Ninjago, but there's just too much going on here that goes against it being canon. And disregarding the art style entirely for a second, we have the golden outfits that are possibly not canon, possibly could be canon. It's pretty much up in the air at this point, and we do have various things such as Cyrus Borg and the X1, which were very heavily involved with Season 3's plot. I think if you just break it down to a simple concept, Kai and Nia are on a mission. That concept, like I said, could pretty much take place at any time, but there's too much going on here that conflicts to the main Ninjago timeline, so I'm going to be giving this one a 30% in terms of potential to be canon. It very well could because of the concept alone, but there's also way too much going on that goes against the canon of Ninjago, so I'm not super sure where this one would fit within the timeline if it turns out to be a canon short. Not super sure about this one, honestly. Next up, we have the third Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short, this one being called A Day in the Life of a Golden Ninja. Now, right off the bat, this one's probably not canon, but it could be, I guess. I mean, if a dragon were to live at the monastery, maybe this takes place in the far past when there was just one person living at the monastery, or maybe this takes place in the far future. Who knows? I don't really know what's going on here. Like I mentioned with Gold Rush, let's disregard the art style entirely for a second. Could this be a ninja that we know? I've seen some people in the comments suggesting that maybe this ninja could be Kai, because the dragon is red and Kai has red dragons, but I don't really know for sure. Honestly, this is just something fun and random that was thrown into Ninjago Reimagined just for the sake of it, and obviously I don't think it's canon, but I will give it a 10% in terms of being potentially canon, just because it does feature a very simplistic plot. The ninja and his dragon are just doing chores. I mean, that could basically take place at any time period, so it just kind of depends on what you think. This could basically go wherever you guys wanted to. Obviously, Ninjago dragons don't really look like this, but then again, this might just be an exaggerated look at what the dragon does during the day. Who's to say? Like I said, I'm going to be giving this one a 10% chance of being canon. It's most likely not. Next up, we have the fourth Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short, this one being called Sweat into the Goldies. Now, this one might actually be canon for a couple of reasons. I feel like out of all of the shorts, this one actually has some of the highest potential to be canon. Now, the first thing that I noticed is that Zane and Jay are in their golden outfits, which of course are not canon to the show, but they do mention in the short how these are new outfits specifically designed for this Red Carpet Clutch Powers movie event, so the short might be canon, who knows? Again, disregarding the animation style, they do mention how this does kind of tie into the main Ninjago story, and there's not much else going on here that suggests that this takes place in a parallel universe to the Ninjago storyline or anything like that. For example, Jay and Zane don't really take on a major threat, they just kind of take on a bank robber with a very unique power set. We've seen various characters in recent Ninjago, such as Misdemeanor, who very much fit this type of character archetype. We've seen that tons of times before, so I feel like honestly this short very well could be considered canon, but the big thing that's holding it back is indeed the golden outfits. I don't think these would be canon to the overall show, but considering how a lot of other things going on in this short very well could be considered canon, I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 80% chance of being canon to the main story for all the reasons I just listed. I think that this one has some of the highest potential out of all the shorts to be considered canon, because frankly it's one of the least deviated shorts in the entire Ninjago Reimagined collection. And lastly, let's talk about the fifth and final Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short, this one being called Golden Hour. Now, obviously this one has the most amount of potential to be canon. In fact, I'm willing to bet that it most likely is. Obviously, this short doesn't really take inspiration from anything super outrageous. It just kind of answers the question, what exactly happened in between Hands of Time and Sons of Garmadon regarding Master Wu, the Time Twins, and the Iron Doom? What exactly happened to all that? Well, we find out in this short here. We see Achronix and Crux battle Wu throughout time. We see the Iron Doom get frozen in time as Baby Wu kind of drifts away from it, and obviously that all could be applied to the main Ninjago story. I mentioned in my review for this short that this short itself could fit very snugly into a Ninjago rewatch if you watched it in between Season 7 and Season 8. I think it provides a lot of context to what we see in Sons of Garmadon, and honestly because of that, this one has the most amount of potential to be canon, I feel, out of all of the Ninjago Legacy Reimagined shorts, and for that I'm going to be going ahead and giving this one a 95% chance of being canon. The only thing holding it back is honestly the lack of an outside confirmation. Again, a lot of word behind the scenes coming from Ninjago writers and creators is very inconsistent and contradictory. If this short is considered canon in the future, I would not be surprised. However, for the time being, as of the time of recording, we do not have a solid confirmation that this short is 100% canon. So for that, I'm going to give it a 95%. And that'll pretty much wrap it up for this video here today. I really enjoyed going through the legacy shorts and trying to figure out which ones are canon and which ones are not. Again, some of these shorts are very much mixed in terms of what works and what doesn't work to the modern timeline, and I hope my percentages were very reflective of that. Obviously, I don't feel like any one of these 5 shorts are 100% canon. However, Golden Hour seems to have the most amount of potential. Also, Sweat into the Goldies might also be considered canon at some point. I feel like both of those would fit snugly into the Ninjago timeline as it currently is. However, regarding the other 3, yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like some of them could only exist if certain criteria is met and if certain timelines are met, so some of them might exist in alternate timelines, but Ninjago Reimagined had the goal in mind of creating what-if scenarios for the Ninjago show, so obviously none of these would be considered canon if we just go by that statement statement alone. However, some of these shorts do indeed have some things in them that very well could suggest that they might actually apply to the main Ninjago story, and I hope I was able to explain that to you guys in today's video. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for this one here today, you guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this. Which Ninjago Legacy Reimagined short do you consider to be canon, and which ones do you consider to not be canon? Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Once again, my name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.